Hello friends, welcome to a new episode of Noobs in Disguise. As always, Lambo is joining me today as we have a fantastic Zerg versus Terran game here on the North American server. What's up, buddy?
What's up? I'm already excited because this guy is a new school player opening with 15 hatch. Very exciting.
New school? This is how the cool kids do it nowadays?
The new kids that are copying Sarah's tournament replays, yeah.
But this doesn't come from Cyril, did it? Didn't Eric invent this?
I think Eric, yeah, it's an Eric build, for sure. I'm not sure if Cyril changed it all, but I know Eric was the man to go for the 15 hatch first, so it's definitely an Eric build. But I think the one they're copying is probably Cyril.
Yeah. I think Cyril's reach is slightly bigger than Eric's most of the time. What is this drone gonna do, though? I don't think there's a drone scout in the build.
Nope,
the entire point of the build is that it's great against any type of early Rex as well, no?
Yep, that is the point of the build. I guess this guy is just playing it double safe. He has the helmet on and the knee protectors as well.
Did you ever go skating as a kid? Not on like a skateboard, but on like the...
Yeah, inline skates.
Yeah, inline skates. Did you do that or no?
Yeah, I did. Also with knee protectors and elbow protectors, of course. When
Wrist protectors as well. I never wore a helmet though. Everything but the helmet. Ooh!
Now that is bananas. Does he realize that the barracks gives vision, as well as the SCV, as well as the depot?
Mountain messages him after the game. He's like, bro, you know I can see all of this, right? He's like, just rallies the Reaper in there. It's like, yep, there's a hatchery. And it's either gonna be a drone or a hatch. Like, there's not that many choices left to make. I love it though. Roach Warren as well. This is some true optimism coming out of Rum here. He's like, that hatch is gonna definitely finish. I don't think it ever should finish, although it might not even hurt to allow it to finish if you're mounted. What do you think the correct call is here?
I think letting it finish is good, and you just make a bunker. It's very late, so like you're gonna have 3 Marines and a Reaper against Roaches spawning one by one. He's going 3 CC. He does not respect the hatchery. I mean...
Oh, he has a build order. He's not getting away from it. There's no way. I mean... I think technically he's going to be fine as long as he... Roach are going to trickle in one by one, right?
He scouted the hatch on the other side of the map. So I would think, if I was in this sweat, that this is also a fake. Because if you're proxy hatch roaching, then it should be the first hatch that is on my side, not the second hatch.
Yeah. Yeah, most definitely. It's also
he's going to lose Marines, isn't he?
No, he won't.
To the Broodlings.
No, Hellions there. This is good.
1 Marine.
Well, yeah. I mean, not the worst thing. He moved his units back at least, realized Broodlings were coming. Cars being microed back as well. It does end up dying, but this is honestly probably the best defense that you could ever hope for.
Yeah, no, he didn't overreact at all, which is probably the worst thing that could have happened here, because this build was not very threatening. He doesn't even have a bunker on low ground. I would be a little concerned of like roaches coming from the actual first 2 hatcheries, because if that happened, he would have just died.
Yeah, that would have been an issue for sure. You know what's funny is that a lot of the time, at lower levels, the all-in doesn't actually kill people, or the pressure doesn't kill people, but the fact that they over-respond to it. So I used to coach quite a few people back in the day, and then often I would watch a replay, and they do the build perfectly, and then they'd scout like a Roach Warren going down at 4 minutes and 50 seconds, and they throw down 6 bunkers. And we're watching the replay together. It's like, all right. Can we spot the mistake here? It's like, yeah, perhaps the 6 bunkers is a bit much. Because the Roach Warren was 20 seconds too early or something. It's like, well, it's not great, you know? So I'm actually kind of impressed. I think this is very informative as well. The fact that it was such a calm response, you know, just constant Marine production, not getting that reactor, getting units from everywhere, and also continuing SCVs. I think that is one of the harder things. And the moment you see someone do that, they either have a very good grasp of the build, or they're just good at the game. And I think in this case, it's probably a combination of the 2.
Yeah, the follow-up though at this point is complete freestyle. That is not a build. He also didn't start his units right away. He has a factory on a tech lab already forever. I guess he scouted the 3rd hatchery, so he doesn't need to use it. But at the very least, he should be putting the barracks on there to start stim. And then make an extra reactor with the factory if he doesn't want to use it that way.
Yeah, it does seem a little bit chaotic. I also have a feeling that he's going to be struggling with gas as he's throwing down double EBIS already. Still needs to start stim as well. And if he ever wants to build a tank at any point during this game or medevacs, He probably needed the third and fourth gas geysers a little while ago.
So the Zerg's running by. He saw a bunker, a lot of Marines. He sees 2 Banshees now. I have no clue how this Nidus is ever gonna work, but it's stage 2 of his all-in.
You see the Overlord though on the left?
Yeah, I mean, you see the buildings though.
This is the dude. This is the guy who's gonna do it. Look at him. Bow, bow, bow. No way. Is it gonna get blocked by the barracks? Like you queue it up from a distance. Ah, okay. Goes up. Gonna first person this from the Terran. Let's see when he notices. Okay, that's 5, 6. Oh no, he's microing the Banshees. This is an issue. He's not gonna look back for the next 15 seconds. The scream is going to relieve him, but that's it. Oh, now he hears it. It's like, ah, crap. Units in the main. Does have a tank though, which is nice. Has a Marauder as well, which is actually kind of useful here. Has a decent chunk of Marines. Should empty his bunker as well. How do you want to micro this? Do you pull away the SCVs or just hold position micro? Guess this isn't quite ideal.
Hold position would probably have been the best. I think getting the bunker to where the depot is that is raised right now is perfect, and just trying to make a second tank. Keep making units. He struggled with producing units, also while he was microing the Banshee, especially SCVs as well. Which anything is helpful here, since he's just floating the money otherwise. He's making a Liberator, which is a good choice. And honestly, it's just not that many Zerg units. I feel like the Zerg should be reinforcing this with more roaches, not with Zerglings, if he wants to kill the Terran.
But what if this is a macro follow-up? He's saving the gas, so he can go into the spy. Oh, the second Nidus with the flank! Look at that! The Nidus flank on the tank, actually almost working out. If he gets the tank, that would be a high-tier move. Gets the tank.
That was terrible. What are you doing?
He lost all his units, though.
How is that a high-tier move?
Okay, the move... Okay, it could have been high-tier if it would have worked, and then, you know, would have... Okay, perhaps it wasn't a high-tier move, but I like the thought of it. It's innovative play.
It looked cool.
You know, when Steve Jobs invented the iPhone, it also didn't work. It was just a drawing in a notebook. You know, this is the same. This is still in the early stages. And now he's going to get, you know, the functionality up. And sure, certain things like losing the rest of his entire army, he might scratch that in the later versions of the Nidus flank. But the idea is there. You seem to be hating very much on the innovators these days, Lambo. I've noticed this in the past as well. Whenever someone, you know, strays away from the meta, you are there with your meta hammer to bash them down. I think that's messed up.
That is messed up. I'll give them more chances from now on.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if his Nidus 2.0 flank is 3 Ravagers and he just bites the tank like that.
Yeah, for example.
That would actually be cool. Instead of rallying
that
links one by one. Because the Nidus doesn't unload that fast anymore, so rallying links out of the Nidus is really
now you're
not a good idea.
Lambo. You're cooking something now. I'm gonna let you cook. We have double evos as a follow-up here going out of Rum. We have a single armory. I guess that's going to be for the 2-2 upgrades, because 1-1 has finished. The first medevac is out. There's a Viking as well, which I don't completely mind. Just so you can clear the skies from any overseers. You don't want to make the game any harder than it already is for yourself. Do we have combat shield? Yeah, there's combat. All the upgrades are really here. I'm still liking this spot quite a bit for the Terran.
Yeah, he's ahead. And I was wondering why he wasn't further ahead. It's because he's floating like, what is it, 4, 7, 10 mules? I think he can land like 9 or 10 mules once he lands that orbital. So his mineral income is gonna skyrocket. He also already has the army ready to start too, which he is starting now. So in general, he also just has the better army. To be honest, I thought this was even more high level after the very beginning, because the Zerg just did weird stuff and the Terran played quite well. But in my head, this is going down a little bit as we go.
Yeah. But the game is very confusing. Oh,
look again!
The flank through the slow zone. Do you see that?
Yeah, is this high tier as well?
No, that was a bad move, I think.
Really?
Yeah. So on one side there was the creep that speeds up the units, and on the other side there's the slow zone that makes them slower. I definitely do think that the creep would have been the better choice here. Or just staying away for a little bit also would have been fine. Throwing balls from a distance, though, is going quite well here. We haven't really seen the mules being thrown down, and no continuous SCV production either. So, yeah, that is interesting. You have these Marines, the tanks reinforcing this position. This is almost starting to feel like more of an all-in than it really should be. Because this shouldn't be an all-in at all.
Yeah, no. He should be the... I mean, honestly, the Zerg should be the one that's all-inning. He's shooting a tank forward. The Zerg actually with the Ravager flank that I was talking about earlier, he gets 1.5 tanks. He just doesn't have that many units left over against the 1-1 bio. At the very least, the 2 tanks are way too far back, so the Terran needs to retreat a little bit towards them. But if the Zerg can't spend his money, it's looking really rough for him.
Yeah. We're also very close to hitting 12 mules availability, which means that all command centers haven't used their energy in quite a while. There's 2 that are currently full, and the third one is on like 160 energy. Third base here is going to end up falling on the side of the Zerg. It's 1-1 versus 1-1. I think with a drone pool, this is going to get cleaned up. And that means that the army of the Terran will get reset. And maybe gives the Terran some time to macro. Sometimes I feel like that forcing the Terran to look away from their main army is actually a bad thing in this type of scenario. You know, now the Terran is going to throw down barracks and a fort base, use all of the mules that he has, starts SCV production again as well. Before that, he was just kind of macroing. It might be worth it just to keep the opponents like the 1 tank and 4 marines alive, just so they continuously look at it.
That's actually a good point. He also doesn't realize his barracks are just not rallied at all. So he's fighting with less than half of his army right now. And we're hitting 12 mules. Yep.
Yeah, we've done it. We got it. We should have like... Oh, look at that. Oh, that's just 3. I thought he was going to drop all of them.
I think he just saw that this base had a lot of energy, so he dropped the mules from that base only.
Oh, no. Ooh, tunneling claws as well.
Well, he has scans for days.
Yeah,
Zerg doesn't realize this, but...
No units in position, though. It's still going to be annoying to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be in 3 bases here at the same time, I think. It's going to probably wait for it. Then boom, unburrow all 3. Yeah, this is a high tier move. This is the level of... This is the type of chaos that at this level is just detrimental. Honestly, at most levels is detrimental. 3 plays at the same time is so difficult to deal with. Like, if you have nothing set up yet. Actually deals with this pretty well. Stims an army, splits it in 3. And we got a setup.
The Zerg actually did this really well as well. On the 3rd base, tried to kill the tank first. And saves most of his roaches. Also, the main is borrowing right away again. The Terran really doesn't want to scan, waiting for his turrets to finish. Even though his orbitals are not gaining any energy, because they are indeed full energy. But as long as the units are in position, I guess the Zerg can't do much. The Zerg at this point is the one floating more.
Yeah, but technically the Terran is floating more, because he's floating the energy as well, right? So we count that as money as well. Well, he just used 5 scans, which wasn't quite brilliant, but... I mean, technically, how many? There's still 6 mules available. Well, make that 5. Oh my god, there was so many scans.
Yeah.
I think it was like 7 scans. This cost him like 1,400 minerals to clean this up. That was very expensive.
Do you think he was surprised when he still had scans after the first 4?
I got more. Look at these magic bags from Harry Potter. Infinite stuff in there. Car? All right. Infestation pit is on the way right now. Do we have 2-2 yet for the Zerg? Yes, we do. So the Zerg is temporarily ahead in upgrades, and he's going to use that temporary advantage by bum rushing in here, walking into his own piles, and then quickly retreating again, realizing that even supply and up 1 upgrade isn't quite good enough against a massive bio force. More
Terran, legit, whenever he micros, he doesn't make anything at home. It already started with the 2 Banshees that I've noticed this, but whenever anything... See, like now that nothing is happening, he starts up some units. And then it's full on focus on the army again. I don't think... Maybe he doesn't use hotkeys, so maybe he's a Brood War player. He looks back at his base to select the barracks. That's why...
Wait, surely it was hotkeys in Brood War, no?
Yeah, but you needed to... But I guess you couldn't hotkey that much. I don't know, I didn't play Brood War, but whenever I watch Tastos' stream, they look back and click their buildings.
That might just be because of Tastosis, though.
They're the best players I've watched, okay?
Nah. I actually know what you mean. You can only, I think, hotkey 1 building at a time or something like that. It's a really weird rule. I'm not quite sure why. Oh my god, all these biles are hitting in a big way. Zerg is still floating 2.7k as well. And is at the same time killing their opponent. This is very frustrating for the Terran, I can only imagine. Perfect defense all game long, and then this crap happens to you. Zerg also hasn't been producing anything in a while, which always really surprises me at these types of games, is that there are Zerg players that will continuously inject, but then forget to spend their larva. Like, this dude still has 25 larva. Like, surely this is the easiest part of the macro. It's just hitting the select larva button and then holding down whatever button you want to press. But for some reason, that seems fairly difficult. We have some extra macro hatches coming in now. We have a hatch going down on the 5th base as well. As the Terran technically is dead now. But I still believe.
I'm I'm not so sure the Terran is actually that. He's starting up a 4th CC. He has quite a nice army. The Zerg is running out of bank. If he doesn't attack soon and the Terran gets anywhere close to max, I think the Terran still has a pretty good shot. And at this point, he's not even that far behind an army. He's trying to multitask right now with that single job, which was also going on during the big fight. And now he's moving out again. That obviously should not be the case. I feel like he should just chill and sit at home. Also, his tank is stuck. And he never made more tanks from that factory. I mean, that tank would be nice against Ling run buys, but against the roaches, I'm not so sure.
Yeah, not super useful for sure. We have that medevac is being taken out by the Spore on the bottom side. We have a massive attack at the same time. Oh, there's a bit of a base raid scenario here. Both players start taking out each other's bases. Now, the Terran has a cool trick where they can lift the buildings and fly away. Terran realized that a bit too late, loses 1 out of the 3 orbitals. Does have a wall, though, a bunch of marauders and a tank behind that. So I actually think that the Zerg can continue this base trade. Will need to return back home, but after losing 2 bases, well, the Terran only lost 1.
Yeah, good moves from the Terran. If he actually spends his money, he's now the one that's most certainly in a winning position. Where the Zerg finally managed to spend all of his money, but the last trades were not that great, losing all of those bases. I don't think he can get this base as well. So yeah, nice pickup.
That's fairly optimistic.
He didn't make a single unit while all of that was going on once again. So now that he's finally done with that, he starts up 4 Marauders, 7 Marines, 2 Medevacs. Should really also start 2 tanks. I think he should prioritize it over anything. He also has a tank blocking the other tanks, which he now realizes.
Yeah, depot wall is definitely going to prove to be an issue here for the Zerg. Wants to try and burst it, but I honestly don't think that's a brilliant plan. The Zerg is aware of the right side base, but still decided to go for the natural, which I think is an odd call. Planetary. I don't think this will ever finish. I do hope we're going to see a lift, because this base is becoming pretty darn important. Okay, no lift. I think the Zerg is winning again.
Is he? I'm not sure. The Terran's army at this point, if he actually F2s, especially if he gets a tank from the main base as well, is better. That's for sure. He can also just lift his orbitals. And I know my man Mountain has a bunch of mules saved up just for this scenario. I thought earlier he just saved them up to go for the most alpha play and dropping 12 mana mules on top of his opponent while he was on 3 base. But at this point, I think... yeah, I think he has it saved up for exactly this scenario. Like, once he lands this and he drops the mules, especially if he also makes units, that would really help. Oh my god, he's pulling the boys!
This is one of the latest SCV pools I've seen in my entire life. It is going to get spotted here. A couple of biles will rain down. SCV is not quite tanking, actually blocking the army movement more than anything. Tank siege up far in the back. Now we'll go for the unsiege, but we are not really contributing in this fight. Biles will connect with a large portion of this bio force. And this is... I actually don't know what is happening. I don't think this is looking great for the Terran, but once the tanks are sieged up, this is still a very powerful force.
Yeah, he also still can produce units. He has a lot of money in the bank. And this is mostly Marauders against the Roach Ravager army, which Marauders deal quite well with the Roaches, and then once it's only Ravagers left over, he can jump on top of it, which is exactly what he's trying to do now. Really should siege the other tanks forward as well. Now taking the army supply lead, I mean, the Zerg are splitting out units.
Look at the link flank, though. Didn't even need a Nidus for this one, as he takes out 3 tanks. Might get a 4th as well. Yep, there we go. Absolutely no problem. Biles connecting with his own drones. Yeah, an absolute slugfest of a game here. Don't forget that during this, the Hydralisk then ended up finishing, so there is the possibility of mixing some Hydras, as one of the only units truly remaining here is the Medevac, which might be nice to get 2 or 3 Hydras out here. What are your thoughts on that, Lambo?
Absolutely should not make Hydras. The Terran now finally realized he has the mules, so he can still produce units. He's still ahead in army value, an army supply. It needs to rally forward the units, though. This Terran not actually playing with F2. Which actually would have helped him a lot this game.
The tank! It's free.
Oh, okay, that tank already has 6 kills. It's been alive for very long. It was the first tank out of all of these to be produced.
A very wise tank.
This is experience joining the army right now.
Yeah, that's a true veteran of the scene. I love how hard the Terran is outmining the Zerg as well. Here with the mules. Oh, another decently sized fight. Medevacs are kind of running out of juice, though. As the tank, the experienced veteran is going to get taken out basically immediately. Not the cleanest pickup I've seen in my life, but it is a very chaotic game. 5 drones now for Zerg. I mean, why not, right? As every single mule is going to expire. Just, what? He just drops a fresh mule in front of his... It's what it is, I guess.
I mean, he still has the army lead. To be entirely honest, he was just a little bit too Marauder heavy, because Marauders are not good against Zerglings nor Ravagers by themselves. If he had this supply in Marine Medevac, I think he could just stomp the Zerg army. Now he's finally F2ing. The reinforcements are joining up together with his main army, and he can cut off the Ravagers that are still off creep. I don't think these Ravagers will ever return, so he's trying to hit some corrosive bites. But the Terran dodges all of them until the last one, which is still mostly dodged, so... Yeah, I'm not sure about the 5 jumps that he made. I think it should have just been roaches. Please produce units, Zerg, you really need them. He has 13 links right now, and 2 queens. Making 7 roaches, but at this point I feel like the Terran army is a little bit too strong, even though he's still behind in supply. Obviously the Zerg can also still use his drones.
Is that going to be the way to win? Is pulling the boys now for the Zerg? I mean, it's 32 units though. Drones are not that great, especially if everything's being healed. It's 13 links, 7 roaches. I mean, there's absolutely no way in hell that this works. Like, legitimately no way. Terran also stopped doing everything at home right now. Did drop 3 mules. Doesn't have that much money. Could maybe build like 4 or 5 marines. Okay, here we go. Move forward. Tank not quite sieged up. Target fire on the roaches. As the drones are coming in, this is way closer than I thought it would be, honestly. Not a single transfuse has been used, though.
Oh my god, he's still almost clearing it. There's only 2 Marines and 3 Marauders left. The issue is the Zerg doesn't have mining anymore. There's no hatcheries left alive, and even though he will eventually clean up the Marauders, there's still 2 Orbitals, which will be the MVPs. The guys that have been saving mules for days can now still drop mules. And... I mean, the Zerg doesn't have mining anymore. He needs to cross the map. I actually think if the Zerg made Ravagers instead of the last 2 roaches, he morphed 6 Ravagers, I think he could have made. And then did the same engagement, also used Transfuse, I think he could have actually crushed it. It was still so Marauder heavy.
Listen to this though. What if he mines the gold minerals right next to his natural?
That is the most mining, that's what he should do. I mean, at the very least, he should be long distance mining from his 3rd base, not from the 4th, but or the 5th, yeah. Oh no.
Alright. Mountain. Dragon Mountain with the win. Dragon Mountain also the one that sent in the replay, of course. Our favorite Terran player. So I think for this time for you the honor again, Lambo. Is it? I feel like every week I just say, oh, you the honor, and then you tell me which one it really is. It's your turn, right?
I feel like usually I just start, and usually you ask me who should start, and then I just start, is what happens. I feel like if we bring up the stats, I started like 3 times more than you. But I'm down to go again. So this was an A. Every single time I went for an A, I guessed too low.
Okay.
So the early game of the turn was quite good. The early game of the Zerg was special, to say the least, which can be quite threatening on a ladder environment. I feel like this should be pretty high. The question is, does NA actually go higher on the higher levels as well? I know on Diamond, like it's basically a plus 1000 MMR from what we've seen so far. But I'm going 5000. Yeah, just 5000.
5000?
And 1. 5001.
That's like Grandmaster, isn't it?
Yeah, is it? I feel like, is it that hard to get on NA? I have no idea.
Surely. This is not yet. There's no shot. I was gonna go significantly lower, but now...
Now you have to.
You
have to back up your talk. You can't just play it safe. Come on.
Well,
what is this?
Okay, I won't play it safe. I'll go for 4100 and 36.
Well, what would your guess have been if I didn't say anything? Still lower than that, no?
Honestly, around there. Maybe 4K. Okay. 4136, I think, is such a good guess, though. Yeah, it really is the sweet spot. Wait, I'll open the document.
But every single time I went for an A so far, it was way higher than expected. Is it even lower?
Yeah. It was 3853.
There's no way, bro. I swear to God, we had someone that I thought was like Silver League and had that MMR.
Yeah, it's crazy. It was Assassin's Crusader, by the way, and the opponent... Well, we won't say, but that was who the submitter was. Crusader. 3853 turn. Oh, man. You got lucky that you picked so high. Well, not for your score, but otherwise I would have been even closer to correct.
I can't believe this, honestly. I can make no sense of the... Like, usually you would think I would improve over time. But whenever we have European replays... I go too high, and then whenever we have NA replays, I go way too low. And now I'm trying to compensate for that. It's even worse. It's like the worst guess yet. I'm just
The
getting
only
worse.
person that does something every week is worse performances every time. This is like these old guys that play golf, you know? I feel like these guys are at the golf course every single day, 6 hours. They can't hit a freaking ball for the life of them. This is gonna be us in 10 years. Still guessing. Surely NA. 3,700 is going to be correct. Poof, 1,500 off again.
I can't believe this, man. This early game was so good. And I don't
It
know.
was so tight. This guy doesn't deserve to be here, that's for sure. If you're around Crusader, you deserve at least Grandmaster. Not just 5,000, but 5,001. Oh, that was beautiful. All right. I think that's going to be it for today. Another fantastic episode. If you too thought it was fantastic, be sure to hit the like button and tell your friends about it. This is the best thing that you can do for us. If you have many friends, inform all of them about Noobs in the Sky's new episode every Wednesday, whenever I've uploaded it in time. All right. Thanks for watching and bye-bye.